Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. I'm Rari and thank you for coming. Welcome! If you are a returning subscriber, hey love. I'm starting a new series on my channel called Let's Talk About It. And in this series, I'll be discussing several different topics of, different life situations that we all go through, things that I feel like needs to be talked about more often. And I just want to be there for you guys and talk about these different topics. Life be lifing. Would really appreciate it if you click the subscribe button. I know you're gonna like this video. I know you're gonna get helpful tips. Support your girl and click that subscribe button before I even start. Thank you. Here we are. This is one of the first episodes. You could consider it an episode, but it's really a playlist, a series, whatever you want to call it. It's just when I'm not going to specifically say girl talk because I know some men go through these things as well. But this is definitely us talking and me addressing certain situations that we all go through. I will be talking about taking people's advice. This will be called Take People's Advice with a Grain of Salt. Reason why you should not take people's advice or take people's advice with a grain of salt, meaning very lightly, is because they are not in your shoes, okay? People are not you. Everyone has different life journeys and different experiences that we need to experience to go to a certain level. There's a slight chance that the people's advice that you're taking, they might do the same thing that you'll do in that same situation. If you're indecisive, if you are just, not sure of what to do, just remember this. You have to deal with your own consequence. Meaning if this doesn't turn out how you want it to turn out and you listen to whatever Samantha said, Amanda said, Brittany said, I'm naming random names, obviously common names, then you are going to have to deal with that consequence. So make sure that not only are you going on your own path, but use your wisdom, because at the end of the day, if you go through a certain consequence, you're going to have to go through that alone. They're not going to go through that with you. And that's very tough, but that's the truth. You're going to have to go through that own consequence yourself. So it can turn out good and it can turn out not so good. And you just don't want to deal with that because you're going to have to deal with it all by yourself. So make sure that whatever advice you're taking it with a grain of salt, because you're going to have to deal with that consequence yourself. People can be hypocrites when giving advice. Haven't we all been through this? I'm pretty sure we all have been through this. People can be hypocrites when giving advice, meaning they will tell you not to do something, and like I said, they will do it themselves. So you want to make sure that you're doing what you feel like is right, and we all go through our own experiences for our own reason, okay? Only God knows. So people can be hypocrites when giving advice. It gets deep. Trust me, we've all have been through this. I'm pretty sure you know what I'm talking about. They either done what they're telling you not to do, or they would do it. You know what you've been through and you know what end goal you're trying to get to. It's best that you follow that and listen to that. A secret that you might not know. You may actually be doing better than them than you even think you are. They may want what you have secretly. I know I've heard many situations like this where you think you're getting a person's advice and they're telling you what they will do, but you're further than them more than you even know. And when I say further than them, I'm not saying, like I said, take their advice with a grain of salt. You can take advice from everyone. You can learn from everyone. I'm saying take their advice with a grain of salt because they secretly may want to be you. You don't know. And you don't know if that person can have more than you. So that doesn't mean that they're not secretly jealous of you because they have more than you. It's many things that they can be secretly jealous of, like your character and your personality and the way that you handle things. So you might want to be careful of that, because they secretly might be jealous of, because people have a tendency of projecting their own insecurities on you. They haven't gotten that far. Their dreams are not as big as your dreams may be. They might not know what you know. They might not have the same intuition, the same dream that you may have. Don't let anyone project their insecurities on you. Take your friends and family's advice, again, with a grain of salt, because they may have not reached this level of success that you're trying to reach. That's the honest truth. You don't really want to take people's advice that haven't reached the level of success that you're trying to reach, because let's be honest, they may, again, be trying to project their insecurities on you. They haven't reached that level. They may have good intentions and they may be trying to protect you. You don't want to regret taking their advice when you thought of something else and now you're regretting it. You don't want to be that person that's constantly holding a grudge over someone because you didn't take your own advice, okay? You want to evaluate the situation and move on from there. Last thing you want to do is hold a grudge over someone from taking their advice when you knew you should have took your own advice and just did what you were doing, but you decided to go off the track and listen to someone. You can learn from anyone. You can learn from the bum on the street, the person that's mopping these buildings. You can learn from a person younger than you, a crackhead. You can learn from literally anyone, a boss, a manager, like, you know, the list goes on. I'm just naming random things, but you can learn from anyone. Don't ever be so small-minded to think that you know it all. Actually, you should want to believe in yourself, but also remember that you don't know it all and you can always take someone else's advice. Don't be so stubborn that you feel like you've accomplished everything and you can't take anyone's advice. But what I am saying, and the point of this video is, again, take people's opinion with a grain of salt. Because I'm going to give you guys an example. I don't want to say any names, so I'm going to be speaking in general, but there's someone named John, and he's married to Samantha. And John has a friend called Bill and Clark, and Bill and Clark are like telling John, you shouldn't be with Samantha. You shouldn't be with Samantha. And Samantha is, you know, everyone is not perfect in a relationship, but their relationship is pretty good. It's pretty solid. No one is cheating on anyone and they're accomplishing their goals together. But Bill and Clark are calling John and saying, John, I don't think you should be with Samantha. I heard some things about her. Samantha's taking up all your time. Samantha's not the one. Just be like us. And mind you, Bill and Clark are single, or they might not be single, but they're having issues. And guess what? Next thing you know, Samantha breaks up with John, or John breaks up. Samantha and John break up, and then all of a sudden, Bill and Clark are in a relationship, or one of them are in a relationship. Bill is moved on. Bill has found new love, and guess what? Bill ain't calling John's phone no more. Bill is doing exactly what John was doing in a relationship, but Bill don't care because, like, Bill took his own advice. But guess what? John took Bill and Clark's advice, and now John is single. John is single, and he reminisces about Samantha all the time, and he just feels like he shouldn't have took Bill and Clark's advice so much. He should have took it with a grain of salt. So that's just an example, but of course there's other things that you guys can relate to. Let me know if this hit any nerves, if it hit home, because it definitely hit home for me. That's why I definitely wanted to start this series called Let's Talk About It with this topic. We've all been through this, where we've listened to someone's advice and it maybe did more harm than good, because even though they were trying to protect us, they would have done the same thing if they were in our situation or in our shoes. Or you end up regretting it. You said, I should have took my own advice. I should have just went on and did it, right? So that's why you should take everyone's advice with a grain of salt. And that's it for today's video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you so much for tuning in today. Don't forget to subscribe, guys. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. It will mean a lot to me. I love you dearly, and I pray that you and your family are safe. God bless, and see you in my next video. XOXO, Rari.